return on investment. And there are a lot of people who speculate that, you know, IBM may drop that far, and that's why they buy these options. But it doesn't have a very good chance of being worth anything at all. Now, IBM stock does fluctuate. There's no doubt about that. In fact, if we take a look at a chart of IBM, let me just bring this up for a second. Let's take a look at IBM's chart. You can see that IBM back in February, right around, maybe this is January here. Let me take a look. Yeah, let's go back. This is January right in here. In January, let's say around the 11th, IBM was selling it around $98, right down in here. If you thought the potential for IBM was to go up in price, you could have purchased an at-the-money call option on IBM when it was right around $98, probably for around, let's say if you purchased the February expiration options, probably right around where the current May options are. So maybe around $1.65, or let's see what they were selling for, $2.80. So let's say you bought a call option for $2.80. Well, from that time until the third week of February, in the third week of February, IBM was trading for right around $106. So the difference between $98 and $106 is approximately, if I do my calculations correctly, $8. So IBM rose in price by $8. Well, what would happen to that contract if you bought it for $2.80 and it went up $8? Well, it's going to be close to $10 in price because, you know, it's gone up almost $10. So it's going to be worth $7 or $8 minus the $2.80 that you paid for it. So you're going to make a profit of about $5. On the other hand, what if you thought, because IBM had been going down in price, you thought that IBM was going to continue to drop, and you bought a put option for $1.65, and the price of IBM continued to go up and up and up and up, what then would happen to your put option? Well, your put option would go farther and farther and farther out of the money as the stock price continued to increase in price, and the market makers are going to value your options much lower because now it is so much farther away from the price that you actually bought it at. And the fact that it would have any value at all before the expiration of that option would be extremely low because it has moved so far away from the actual price that you purchased your option at. So if you purchased it at $1.65, the chances are if it moved $8 away from you and it increased in price, well, you know what? If you purchased your put option at 100 because IBM was trading at $98, well, now if the stock price is up around 120, your option is only going to be worth 10 cents. So instead of making $150, $160 on your contract, you've actually lost $150 on your contract. And not only that, but the closer you get to expiration, the longer it takes for IBM stock to move towards your strike price of your option, the less value it's going to have. Because remember, in our illustration of the person who purchased an option 90 days to purchase your house for $1 million and gave you a $500 premium, the person who sold that contract to you now realizes that, hey, guess what? You know, maybe you purchased that option 90 days before the expiration Now it's only 30 days before the expiration. Well, there's less probability that the stock is actually going to be trading anywhere near $100 again, because now it's $124. So as the option, because all options, remember there's only two rules in option contracts, that it will fluctuate in price and it will expire. So the closer you get to the expiration, the less value that contract actually has, because the probabilities of the stock actually moving in your favor have declined significantly. And if you understand those two rules, that option contracts expire and decline in value the closer they get to expiration, and the fact that they fluctuate in price, those are the only two things that you really need to know in order to profit from this system. Because what we hope to do, and what our strategy is all about, is, well, let me just say this first, is that let's say you purchase this option for 95 cents out here. Okay, your probability of that actually ever being worth anything is only less than 2%. But what happened to someone if they sold you that contract? You can remember I told you that even though you don't own IBM, you can sell contracts on IBM and collect the premiums, just like you're the owner of the house. Well, the person who sold that contract to the person who bought it has a 92%, no, higher than that, 98% probability that that option will expire completely worthless. What does that mean? Well, that means that the 10 cents that you collected for that option, as the seller of that option, there's a 98% chance that you're going to be able to keep all of it, and it will not be at a higher price. Because as the seller of the option, you don't want it to go a higher price. You want it to be lower because you're selling it. You want it to be at a lower price. But there's a 98% chance that it will be, in fact, at a lower price and expire absolutely worthless. Then you get to keep the premium that you received, 100% of the premium that you received for writing that option. So our goal in the entire strategy that I've built is all around collecting the premiums and writing the premiums and selling these options to other people who are speculating on the fact that the price is going to go up or the price is going to go down. And our job is to create a strategy in which we collect the premiums from these options in a way that does not get us into trouble. Because, let me give you a warning, if you were simply to write these options, if you were simply to sell these options with absolutely no protection, and if IBM decided to get taken over by a much larger corporation, and I'm not sure if there is one, but if let's say Microsoft decided to buy IBM and they were willing to offer them $220 a share, well, if you sold an option at $135 a share for 25 cents, and IBM or Microsoft came in and decided to buy IBM for $225 a share, well, all of a sudden your 25 cents turns into $100, and you will get killed. You will get absolutely killed on that trade, because 25 cents will turn into 10,000. Your $25 premium all of a sudden is worth $10,000, and you will have to pay out. You will have lost $10,000 because the owner of that contract, the person who purchased that for $25, will say, "Hey, I'm going to purchase IBM stock for $135. You got to deliver 100 shares to me now." And at $135,